they heard girls screaming. They heard the sounds of screaming children screaming for help and banging on the walls. They were in his basement. The kids were in Dutroux basement, but instead the police turned around and walked out the door, and later on claimed they thought it was neighbors or a television program. So it's that fact, along with lots of other facts, that showed people in Belgium that their government was lying to them and that there was a lot more to this story than they were letting on to. This is what we need to see in America. So I live in Houston. I don't know. We need to start planning something like this. We need to organize, and we need to show them at the top that we're not just going to talk about this on the internet anymore. We're going to take action.
Like, we seriously need to do that.
Money grows, peace can grow. Money stay grow, only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your man King Marcel, and we back with another video. So I got episode 5 of strange and crazy TikToks that I think you all need to see. A lot of stuff been coming out. One thing I want to say, because I see a lot of people trying to fall back into the status quo of things. Yeah, we can't ignore this Epstein stuff, y'all. Like, we literally cannot act like this stuff ain't going on. We can't dilute ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We have to stay on course, because I'm just seeing people just like trying to carry on like everything's normal, and things ain't been normal in a while. So that's what I'm hoping this channel and these videos are doing for y'all, is helping keep y'all woke. Like, don't go back to sleep. This stuff is happening. Don't ignore it, and don't let these people who are in charge of you make you think that us talking about these things is somehow bad or throwing things off. We should not be being led by people who are doing such things, especially on our dime. So I just want to throw that out there before we get started with this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys sub up and join the kingdom. But with that being said, let's see what these TikToks about.
Sorry to disappoint you, but every famous person you've seen at a televised funeral wasn't the real famous person. I get paid to lie down, motionless, while strangers cry, scream, and occasionally try to steal the cufflinks. Usually the rule book is 5 pages long. For this specific family, the manual I had received had 50. I was in the prep room, the mansion's refrigerated basement, naked, shivering, while the technical supervisor, a man, applied a layer of cold silicone over my chest. Pay attention, he said, avoiding eye contact. This family does not accept failure. The pay is triple the standard, but the rules of physical engagement are absolute. Did you memorize section 4? I did. I took a deep breath, focusing on the muscle memory from my training, and I reiterated the rules. Rule number 1, total thermal control. The corpse generates no heat. You will undergo a 40-minute ice immersion bath before the event to lower your skin temperature to 28 degrees Celsius. During the wake, if anyone touches your hand or face, they must not feel the warmth of living. Under no circumstances are you to sweat. If you feel a drop of sweat forming on your forehead, you must trigger the micro switch in your palm so the coffin's cooling system releases gaseous nitrogen. Sweat is a proof of life, and life is prohibited. Precinct.
Just think about that. How many people are faking their deaths to the fact that there is possibly agencies for it? Like, let that settle in. What if they want you to seem like, you know what I'm saying, you're dead? Why they got you off on Epstein Island doing Lord knows what to you? Crazy.
In the 1990s, 300,000 people in Belgium got out into the streets to protest the government's handling of a pedophile ring.
What?
Yes, this is true. So this is Marc Dutroux. He was the fall guy for this pedophile ring. He's like the Jeffrey Epstein of Europe. Yes, he kidnapped a lot of these girls. He molested a lot of these young girls. He was definitely a sadistic, evil pedophile himself, but he was kind of like the fall guy for the organization. In fact, there were a number of prominent members of society in Belgium that were implicated in this, all the way up to the king and queen, to the royal monarchy.
Sound
And apparently
familiar?
These pedophile parties were being held at these chateaus, these isolated, old money, luxurious castles tucked away in the woods. And there were children that survived these activities that described snuff films, human hunting parties, extremely, extremely disturbing stuff. Dozens upon dozens, hundreds of dead children. So many terrible things, but it all fell down on Marc Dutroux's head. And in fact, the guy who a lot of people think Marc Dutroux got involved in this world through is a guy named Michel Nahul. Now, Michel Nahul was quoted in the press at one point in Belgium as having said, "They'll never arrest me. They will never question me. I am the real monster of Charleroi," the town that they were in. And he said that they would never arrest or question him because if he were to be brought in and he were to tell people what he knew and what he really knew happened, it would crumble the entirety of Belgium. The entire Belgian government would collapse. But the parents of the children who had been abducted by Dutroux and victimized by this ring, they were not happy. They saw how this was playing out in the media, just like how the Epstein thing is playing out right now.
It's
They
verbatim.
decided that they needed to do something. And so in October of 1996, Belgium had the White March, which took place really in Brussels, Belgium. There were over 300,000 residents in Belgium who showed up to protest in the streets, to march and stand in solidarity with the victims of this pedophile ring. And they wanted to protest because they could all see that the government was covering up these crimes and that they were lying to them about what really happened. I mean, there are so many things we could talk about here with Dutroux, but one of the craziest things is that at one point, police officers were actually sent to Marc Dutroux's house because a tip had come in that he was keeping two of the girls hostage. When the police officers actually showed up to his home, they heard girls screaming. They heard the sounds of screaming children screaming for help and banging on the walls. They were in his basement. The kids were in Dutroux's basement, but instead, the police turned around and walked out the door and later on claimed they thought it was neighbors or a television program. So it's that fact, along with lots of other facts that showed people in Belgium that their government was lying to them and that there was a lot more to this story than they were letting on to. This is what we need to see in America. So
Like,
I live in Houston. I don't know. We need to start planning something like this. We need to organize and we need to show them at the top that we're not just going to talk about this on the internet anymore. We're going to take action.
like we seriously need to do that.
Isn't it funny? Even ancient Native American folklore will tell you that when a human being eats another human being, it's no longer a human being. It is now a monstrous Wendigo. It is a
Simple.
monster that chose to become a monster, and it is irredeemable. It is unsavable. And it is, most importantly, no longer human. And the only way to protect humanity from it is to kill it. It's right there, guys.
Yeah.
You really thought I was crazy? No, not really. Have you seen the things I've seen? Saying I'm a loon, I'm not telling the truth. And anybody who tries to spin that narrative, you're working for the devil.
Bro, they fucking took me to the fucking woods, bro, and they fucking tied me. I'm not fucking joking, bro. I have fucking proof, bro. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I fucking will show you every fucking video you could ever fucking believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down, and they made me fucking watch, dog. Yes, I fucking lost it.
It's been so many. It's been literally so many whistleblowers. So many people put their lives on the line to talk about these things, and we just ignored them, y'all. And now the evidence is sitting right in our face, and we just gonna let their deaths be in vain? He's still living, yeah. But what about Cappy? What about all the countless people who have tried to say this, and they were called nuts? They were called loons. I remember a couple years ago, it was that guy who got arrested and literally told the police that all of the stuff that was going on with Diddy, that he was a sex slave and all of that, and everybody thought he was a nut. But come to find out, sure enough, everything was true. Are we about to keep doing that? Are we about to let this just slide under the rug? I wouldn't be able to handle that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I will not be able to handle that if we just let this continue.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Literally.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Where is it? We need this energy. This is the energy everybody needs to have.
I think we have found who brought the last reset.
Newbie one, newbie one, newbie one, newbie one, newbie one, newbie. He seen what was really happening back then. This shit looked like Star Wars. I think we have found what brought the last reset. This video is from the Vatican, hidden from us all. However, the truth must be revealed and always come to the light. Pyramids, as you see here, step pyramid of royalty. Star Wars. It was a battle going on. No, this is not Star Trek from Hollywood. This is the real deal. And it's spectacular, as we all see here. It's amazing the technology that we had back then. And our ancestors was letting us know that we had all this advanced technology through their showings on walls throughout the world. We just have to have our eye wide open 24/7, 365, American Indians. Because we are the people, the high-tech trendsetters of the entire world, and let it be known worldwide. I'm Newbie One.
That footage is crazy.
The theory of this is that when the biblical flood took place, that the giants who were involved in that fled to the highest peaks in the world, and that being the Himalayas. And we can assume giants could travel much farther and faster than any human being could on foot. For example, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which I've read, the characters Gilgamesh and Enkidu, I know it's a funny name.
Fun name, yeah.
They could take long strides, much longer than a regular man could, because they're giants, and they had supernatural strength, and they could walk 400 miles before stopping to eat, and 1,000 miles before making camp, just as an example. And it says in the book, in 3 days, they could cover the distance an average man could cover in 6 weeks. So if you think, how did they get to the Himalayas so quickly? Here's your answer. So when the giants arrived at the Himalayas, they still met their demise, but their petrified bodies are what we see today as pink Himalayan salt.
What about that one in Dubai? Do you remember that?
Classic.
You know, we studied that for a long time. They killed a guy in a hotel room in Dubai. And then after they killed him,
They were somehow able to lock the door from the inside of the hotel room.
and we tried like magnets and different ways. We couldn't figure out how they did it. Like a latched door? They did the latch and this one. And the guy's in there dead. And the hotel couldn't even get it open.
Yeah, they ended up sending somebody in from the balcony.
How do they do that? It's very impressive. Wasn't there also something... Okay, first of all, the Israelis never officially claimed responsibility for that. But there was like 26 people that the Dubai CCTV footage picked up. Right. And in Dubai...
They have the most CCTV coverage in the world.
More than the Chinese, but none of them were picked up. No.
And they didn't
number one,
see
people
who did
speculate
it.
disguises, but I don't know if this is true, but weren't the cameras Israeli made?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
You can't make this up. This message is for black people.
I'm going to be exposing, as well as helping victims
will be multiple parts of this. Part 1, so I will be what to be, what these groups, how they do it, how they can eat, grooming process, how to stay safe online. Firstly, 764 and extreme. Main goal is to CP for content. Much content as be seen, known. Do this to build a reputation in all extreme active gaming, Roblox, Fortnite, Xbox, Discord, Telegram. Lead children off of these scripted Messenger, Discord. Then they start. Always stay tuned. I advise all parents. Very educational. Happen to anybody. I myself, I got dragged into it 7 years ago. I recently started a website to help educate what online extortion is. Also, what victims, good resources. Just a lot of. Go check it out. This is part 2 of exposing 764 and Extortion.com. When I say 764, I am referring to the entire extortion community. 764 is just the most known group. So today I will be explaining what these people exactly do and how do they do it. They don't always target one person. Sometimes it's multiple people a day. It can be off any game or social media platform, mutual servers or groups, or even mutual friends online. They start by becoming your friend, and the whole process is just manipulation and social engineering. As they talk to you, they often say things like, "Are you on TikTok? Are you on Instagram? Do you play any games? What's your name or age?" Or even just a picture of themselves. This gives them more information to go off of. Sometimes for females, they will offer them money for fan signs or nude images, or sometimes even gift cards for games that they play. A fan sign is where someone writes a name or username somewhere on their body or a piece of paper and take pictures of their body with it. These calm people use it as profile pictures or add it to something called a lore book. A lore book is something that they make on everybody that they target. They place all of their information and pictures, whatever they get on you, into a lore book until they have enough to extort you into making content for them. The extortion process itself usually consists of self-harming, offing an animal, suicide, and much more. It is extremely easy, especially for a kid, to get dragged into something like this. If your child or anyone you know plays Roblox or uses Discord or Telegram, there's a way higher chance of them ever being targeted or coming across this community. Kids need to feel safe coming and telling their parents about anything that happens online. This is where most people get trapped. It's horrible things, it's weird stuff that is not normal. They get you so normalized to this content and share it with you to the point where you cannot talk or tell anybody close to you about it.
Why not?
Without them thinking you are just weird. Then they use it against you to get whatever they want. That's all I'm going to be explaining for this little part. Next part, I'm probably going to explain how to stay safe online or how they obtain your information, which is doxing and OBSEC. So stay tuned for this. Definitely, if you're a parent, I would recommend following and staying tuned to all of my series. And check out my website, endextortion.com, for this. Or if you've ever been targeted in any sort of way, you can always message me and I will help you as much as I possibly can.
All praise for that.
I now have undeniable proof that we're sharing this with a This isn't clickbait. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I urge everyone to go out at one of these. Missed my last video. Everyone there showed up the same, at the two guards out, proving they are not. Today, I went down to Buckingham Palace in London. Again, same thing. As I'm walking down, showing, I filmed the guards outside of the palace. Exactly the same thing. No heat whatsoever. You can see right behind them, heat coming from the buildings, it's showing. But even when they're walking, how do you
Exactly.
Again, I don't know whether they're reptilian, vampires, don't know, don't claim to know. What I would recommend is that everyone buys one of these. And as I said, this is not clickbait. I've not amended the pictures. I've not adjusted the video in any way. Exactly what I filmed today at Buckingham Palace. Anyone can replicate this themselves. So if you can, go out and buy one of these things and see it yourself.
If you guys didn't know, hold on, that's a good one. Hold on, y'all. But literally, I've been searching up those thermal cameras. You know, those thermal cameras are like $1,500 and up. But I am gonna save and get one of those things, and I'll play y'all also, because if there are actually people who are walking around cold-blooded, then we know something, right? I can't say what I want to say right now, but then we would know something, right? Right? We would know how to proceed then. I would hope if enough people get them and get that proof, and then question those people who coming up cold-blooded, and then we get a particular answer, that should give us a particular answer on how to move forward, right? Just saying. I think that should really be an indicator on how we move forward after that.
Adjusted the video in any way. Exactly what I filmed today at Buckingham Palace. And anyone can replicate this themselves. So if you can, go out and buy one of the things and see it yourself.
I've been telling y'all about that place for years.
Security area, all kinds of security people, lots of hallways, big doors. Okay, you're at the very back in this big long thing. You can go down. There's all sorts of art. You know, you think there's a lot of art in the museum? My God, you should see the art that's below the museum. They have rooms of paintings. They're just stacked up. It's a vault. They're not trying to show the art off. They're trying to protect it. They might pass by the armory. They have a room filled with machine guns. You think, it's a museum.
Exactly.
What do they need an armory for? What does a museum need hundreds of M16s and stuff? Just.
So you mean to tell me y'all ready to ride for this? Y'all ready to ride for everybody else but us?
Exactly.
But y'all ain't want to ride for this.
5 deaths were initially deemed suicides. There's another possibility: lynching. In Palmdale, California, authorities are investigating the death of 24-year-old Robert Fuller, a black man who was found dead, hanged from a tree near the community's city hall earlier this month. County Sheriff's deputies shot and killed his brother, Taryn Boone. 38-year-old Malcolm Harsh was found hanged from a tree about 50 miles away in Victorville, California, May 31st. Dominique Alexander, a 27-year-old black man who was found hanged in a Manhattan park 2 weeks ago. Last week, police found a 17-year-old black boy hanging from a tree in an elementary school playground in Spring, Texas. Latinx man was found hanged in Houston.
I think they hung him up to make it look like a suicide. It looked like a back in the day lynching.
And that's literally my main problem with this new Black Panther Party. And it seemed like it's a total psyop, because why did it take the stuff going on in Minnesota for y'all to come back? But these lynchings never stopped. Black men have been getting hung year round, every year, forever. Where y'all been at? Where y'all been at? But then y'all want to come and make this big deal when it's people outside of us? I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. It's giving psyop. Come on, we all seen the Black Panther movie. We all seen the Fred Hampton movie. Come on, they got infiltrated a long time ago. We need to establish something that will last past its own leadership. It has to be a fire in the people, literally, that burns hot and not be corrupted by money and by power. We need people who are focused on people being free. Forget money, forget fame. You should be wanting to do this so that the children and the people who these horrendous acts are happening to don't have to go through them no more. And for that to happen, that's priceless. There's no amount of dollars somebody can offer me to stop me from talking about this. To stop me from wanting to create a movement to combat anything that's going to try to hinder that. But it's so many sellouts out here. And I get why it makes people scared to move, but not moving allows these things to keep going on. Let me know that in the comment section what you guys think.
Jeffrey is asking if you can FedEx the painting he had made of the Massacre of the Innocents to the ranch. It's the large 9x9 canvas that we had rolled out for him to see in the entryway, where they are killing babies. Wants to use it on the ranch and is hoping you could FedEx it to arrive by Wednesday.
This is in an email,
Sarah.
like what?
So this is an email from a woman in Epstein's life named Sarah Kay to someone named Rich Barnett.
Unreal.
And in this email, they talk about Epstein's recent acquisition of a painting or a copy of a painting known as the Massacre of the Innocents. Now, this is the painting I believe that they are referring to, and it's a pretty graphic painting. It, in full detail and full color, shows the slaughter, the mass slaughter of young boys under the age of 2 years old. The story that this painting is based off of comes from the biblical Gospel of Matthew. And essentially in this story, Herod the Great, the king of Judea, orders the execution of all males under the age of 2 years old in Bethlehem, which leads to an absolutely gruesome scene where children are being ripped from their mother's arms and slaughtered in the streets. Obviously, these paintings by themselves are incredibly disturbing, just like the biblical story is disturbing too. I mean, for me personally, this painting of a baby about to get slaughtered while his mother seems to be crying out in pain, it's really hard to look at. But it's even stranger when you consider that Jeffrey Epstein wanted this picture to be hanging in his ranch's entryway, and his assistant, I don't know who this girl is, but she states that he wants to use it on the ranch. Now, I don't.
When they supposed to be Jewish, aren't they? Why would you want a picture hung up of your people being slaughtered this way? Why would you participate in acts that mimic what happened to your people in the past if you are said people? See, when you get to questioning these things out, things become very clear that these people are calling themselves Israel as a psyop. Because what sense does that make? What team are you playing for? We know that Epstein was damn near a secret agent for the Mossad. The Mossad is the secret service for the Israelis. This portrait is supposedly about the Israelites' babies being murdered, but they claim that these are their people, that they are the Israelites, but they don't say they're the Israelites. They say they are Israelis. These same people say that they don't believe in a Messiah, but yet we believe that these people are the people of the book. That farce, that falsehood has to be smashed to pieces. And all of this is just evidence of how it's hypocrisy. These are not the true children of Israel. They are not. And they gonna try to say that this is anti-Semitism or whatever they want to say. When, how can it be if you're not the people? You're not Semitic, obviously. You are participating in children eating, sir. Like, come on, we gotta stop.
Use a painting for. I mean, it's just strange terminology there. But this painting is incredibly graphic for something that you would have hung up in the entryway to your home.
To your home.
And it spares no
your
detail
crib of your people being slaughtered.
Being murdered.
Come
there
on,
are
man.
gray corpses of children. There are crying mothers. This is art. I want to state that for the censors. This is an art piece. This is a painting. It's not
of something
real.
that actually happened, but not to these people, though.
Grotesque, disturbing paintings that you could possibly own. And yet, Epstein not only owned the painting, but he wanted it displayed in the entryway to his ranch.
So he wanted everybody to see who came on his property.
It's the wording in this email. This woman describes this painting that Epstein wants in his home so desperately with very specific and descriptive terminology. She describes this painting, The Massacre of the Innocents, as the painting where they are killing babies. And it's also strange because if you looked at it grammatically, it could sound like she's describing the entryway of the ranch where they are killing babies. That's what the grammatical interpretation of that sentence would be, if I'm correct. Now, all the art that Epstein owned and displayed in his homes and properties, it all tells a story. It's like a secret window into a dark, twisted mind. And this painting and this email paint an extremely dark story.
Unreal.
So I believe that this photo is being seriously underestimated, and I need you guys to understand why. So there are two photos from the Epstein files that no one is talking about, and I get it. They look boring. It's just people in a room. But when you look at where this photo was taken, who's in it, and what kind of discussion appears to be happening, it gets unsettling very fast. I can confidently identify three people. On the far left, wearing green, is Martin Nowak, a world-renowned evolutionary biologist who founded Harvard's program for evolutionary dynamics. In the center is, of course, Jeffrey Epstein. And to his right in the brown jacket is Steve Bannon. At the time this photo appears to have been taken, Bannon was running Trump's 2016 campaign and would soon become White House chief strategist. Everyone else in that room is still unidentified, so if you recognize anyone, say something. Now, based on the room overall, this photo was taken inside Harvard University within the program for evolutionary dynamics sometime between 2015 and 2017. That program studies how ideas, behaviors, or traits spread through groups of people, how they catch on, how they become the normal, and how hard they are to undo once established. Epstein himself donated $6.5 million to help launch this program and actually kept a private office inside of it. Now, this next part is critical. Jeffrey Epstein had a long documented obsession with eugenics, which is the belief that humanity can be improved by controlling who gets to reproduce and who doesn't. Historically, that's led to forced sterilizations, racial hierarchies, and mass atrocities. Epstein openly talked about DNA heredity and creating a genetic legacy, and he also discussed seeding his DNA, selecting traits, and engineering future generations, and he funded scientists, courted academics, and...
What?
This is an email from investment banker Jess Staley to Jeffrey Epstein in February 2014. And it says, "You want to know why we're now at Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z." Now, to give this some historical context, around this time, there were protests in Brazil about the FIFA Cup and how the government was using all of the money to improve the area for the FIFA Cup. But it's like any other time, y'all don't want to improve anything around here. So they were in the streets, rightfully so, protesting in Brazil. And so Jess Staley, who's an investment banker and friend of Jeffrey Epstein, emailed him and said, "See what's going on in Brazil? That's not happening here in America right now, thanks to Jay-Z. Jay-Z is being used to quell the tempers of the Black community, who should rightfully be out in the streets." Jay-Z, around the time that Colin Kaepernick took the knee to protest against what was happening in the Black community, Jay-Z came in and made a deal with the NFL for civil rights. And what did he do instead? Make it seem like it was not cool to still be protesting.
Sellout in its finest.
At the risk of sounding like an anti-Semite, that commercial last night where the black guy could relate to the Jewish guy with the sticky note, basically trying to draw parallels between the Holocaust and slavery, that shit pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, because the way that people in America treat the Holocaust, you would think it's just as bad, if not worse, than chattel slavery. And correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm sure a lot of y'all probably will try to, Even though I have a degree in Africana studies, so I know the Holocaust under 2 years, not only a couple years, if maybe that, 500 years. They were eating us.
Literally.
Do you not understand that sundown towns still exist? I'm not
Today.
saying Jewish people don't go through shit. I'm saying stop drawing parallels of oppression with black people in America.
Literally.
You will never win. And this is
But
not
they do that. They do that because they know who they're mimicking. So they got to get us to go along with it. They're literally wearing us like a costume. And it's the sad point that most of us don't even know. Most of the black people in America don't know that they're the Israelites. We've been called colored, black, African American, just African, slaves. We've been called dog. We've been called niggas. We've been called everything under the sun except for our God-given name, which are the children of Israel. While these fake people are using our names and then trying to use our pain, trying to create a contrast between our suffering and theirs to make it seem like we're one. We're not the same. We are not the same. And the blasphemy that you are doing in the name of our fathers and our mothers, you guys have a very healthy punishment coming. But y'all, with all this stuff going on, y'all trying to dodge it like y'all Neo in the Matrix. These folks trying to dodge that judgment that they got coming like Neo in the Matrix. But the Bible spoke about all of this. We was going to remember who we was. And we was going to remember who pretended to be us too. Yeah, we not going to
people
forget.
trying to play the oppression Olympics. Stop making it seem like our struggles are the same.
Thank you.
Because at the end of the day, a Jewish person still can identify as white.
Because they are.
We are black. They used to eat us, mutilate us.
They still are,
in broad
apparently.
daylight for 500 years.
Still today.
Some shit with the man with a tiny mustache happened, and y'all making it seem like, goddamn, y'all like an endangered species.
Thank you.
They are actively offing us every day. We do not have the same struggles. I'm tired of like other disenfranchised groups trying to compare their struggles to us because it will never be the same. Ever.
Simple. It's as simple as that.
The fuck did I just stumble upon here? What the fuck?
Yeah, what y'all think that is? What type of people y'all think that is? This is what the rest of the files that they don't want to come out is talking about. Who the actual victims are. The actual people that all of this is happening for. Oh, Lord have mercy. Please. Please. Hey, what?
Ew, St. James. Two boxes. Epstein's.
All this evidence.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
These different computers.
I got oops, my bad.
Oh, goodness gracious. Every day, it's just more and more. It's just more and more. This is only 2% of the files, y'all. This is only 2%. Imagine what they actually have. Come on, I'm telling y'all exactly what it is. They gonna hide this to the day they die, because with us knowing who the actual children of Israel are and what they've been doing to them for the past century, for the past 2 centuries, since the death of Christ. All of that suffering that they caused upon them is going to come back due. And they can't allow that. I truly believe they would nuke all of this before they allow all the stuff they done to my people to come out. Because I feel like they know we would then get the sympathy of the world once they realize the truth. But hey, you guys let me know down in the comment section. Are y'all continuing on like everything's normal? Me, I can't sleep. I can't remember the last time I got a good rest, y'all. This stuff weighs heavy on my heart. Even making these videos, looking at this stuff every day, it weighs a lot on my heart. But you got me. I just can't keep. I can't even do any other reactions. Y'all know this channel. I was doing funny reactions, talking about anime. I can't keep doing that, y'all. What the stuff going on with 50 Cent and T.I. stuff? I feel like all of that stuff, all of this other stuff that's outside of this is just a distraction. Because they know that this stuff will end this current status quo of things, and they need it to go under the rug. I, for one, will not let it. I will never let this go. But you guys, let me know down in the comment section, how are you maneuvering? How are you feeling with all this stuff coming out? You just acting like everything's normal? Or you like me and feel like we need to do something? And if you do feel like me and feel like we need to do something, let's get together and let's talk. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys sub up and join the kingdom. But with that being said, King Marcel out. Peace, y'all.
Always alive, looking for the prize. That's eternal life, and bringing the chains in my mind. Talking real peace of mind.